Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. Welcome back to Dominions 5 for a brand new and hilarious adventure. Dominions All-Stars 2. It is turn number 1. We're about to jump into the game for the first time. Immediately you can see some players have been editing their banners, which is pretty great. We've got the Horned Coalition, Fomorignon, Lazy, Methelheim, Skeletopia with the Hinnom banner, Thugartha, Trollheim. I did not edit my banner. Yes, I know. Slap on the wrist. Bad me. Bad YouTuber. Optimistria, the Baywatch, Communograd, Pangender, Thriceborn, Eternia, and Miltonus. Eternia is my, personally, besides Trollheim, which of course is the best, Eternia is probably my favorite, just because it's so stupid. Alright, so, Rick Astley, the god of Trollheim, will lead his people to victory. Here's the map. It is an improved Dominion starts map, so fairly evenly displayed. I begin with a Veti Hag, a Warrior Scout, 3 Troll Moose Knights, and 5 Trollfolk Spears. So 5 cheap efficient Spear Infantry, Chaff, 3 Troll Moose Knights, a Blood Random Veti Hag, which is kinda neat, I guess. Rick Astley is entitled to the Hidden One and Fecund Breed Bull. Sort of hilarious. As we can see here, my Bless is Morale plus 2, Shock Resistance plus 15, and Fire Resistance plus 10. This is because I don't really need a Bless. The purpose of the Bless, and as you notice, my god is not here, so the Imprisoned God, is to give me really great scales in the ways that I want, which is Luck 3, Magic 3, Growth 3, and then also a little bit of productivity for resources. While also enabling me to have a relatively minor blessing that will help out my thugs if I choose to shroud them, and will also help out my communions, because the invisible part of my blessing here is regeneration, which will enable me to do all sorts of fun stuff. My god, Rick Astley, is of course an immobile. He's not going to be moving around a whole lot, but he will still be definitely useful. We're going to be recruiting Veti Hags on repeat, I think, for a little while. That leaves us 360 gold, which we could spend on a couple of Troll Knights, and then a bunch more Spears. I think that is probably the way to go. I've been testing Troll Moose Knights. Troll Moose Knights do a wonderful job expanding. 4 or 5 of them can take most indie provinces with no casualties. If you get up to 5 plus the spears, you know, helping out, I think they'll be definitely helpful. Yes, I forgot. It's not a Veti Hag I want. It's actually a Trollfolk Shaman because they have 40 in leadership. There we go. That's fine. And I still have some gold left over. Also, of course, I can fire short bows into melee without giving a shit because my Troll Moose Knights have tons of prot, lots of hit points, and regenerate, so it won't really harm them at all. But that's going to be my first turn recruitment. In terms of research, what the nation wants really kind of depends on what you're recruiting early on. The obvious choice is to go for Skeleспam, because Troll Sith Barrender make fantastic Skeleспam Communion mages. You can also aim for more basic, like, Alteration, because you have plenty of Earth and plenty of Nature, so Alteration is a good school for you. Water 2, which I will need for Rain. Rain comes from Evocation level 2, so I want to grab that fairly early. My magic scales started me off with Conjuration 1, Alteration 1, Enchantment 1, and Blood 1. I'm never really going to need a whole lot of blood. I don't plan to do much besides forging with my blood magic in this game. But Enchantment 1 is a nice little bit of a boost towards Horde of Skeletons. Yeah, that's tempting. I did also start with Alteration level 1, however. I'm thinking maybe grabbing Alt 2 and Evocation 2 would be a good early game play. Conjuration isn't actually as fantastic for me, although I can summon Glossos and Bears. I have the summon Omokade at level 4. That spell is relatively difficult for me to cast since it requires Death Earth Cross Paths. Nobody has those, except for Earth Random Shamans and Sith Barrender. So I can cast that spell by getting an Earth Random Shaman or Sith Barrender, and then putting a pair of Earth Boots on them that my Troll Kings have forged. That's fine. That's very doable. It's not too bad. And honestly, I just took the Omokade because I wanted to play with them. So, I started off with the national spells of Jotunheim, which was my base nation. And then I added a couple of national spells of my own. So I Summon Omokade I added. Brood of Garm, Jotun Draga are all the same. And then, actually, there is one thing that I'm going to be using Blood Magic for. I added the spell Reascendance, which enables me to summon Fallen Angels. This isn't particularly thematic. I just thought it was kind of fun. I was like, hey, if I'm going to be picking extra national spells, I might as well pick one that's a ridiculous late-game super combatant chassis. So I did. So at some point, I will want to research Blood Magic to get down to level 7 so I can cast Reascendance. I'll have to empower somebody in Blood to do it, but that won't be a problem. Since this is about the only thing, this and Forging, that I'll be using Blood Slaves for, I should be able to, you know, gather up a few hundred and churn out some Fallen Angels in the late game, assuming, of course, that Trollheim survives that long. But I think it will. I think Trollheim will be fine. We're going to make Vana my prophet. Having a stealthy prophet is never a terrible idea. Tyr is going to research. Since I am in Magic 3 scales, that is 8 research points for 40 gold, which is pretty sweet. And for my research, let's start with Alteration level 2 for a couple of reasons. Earthmeld is a good spell, if I can manage to get it cast. Also, Enlarge is actually a really good spell for trolls specifically, since they naturally regenerate. Increasing HP by 30% is a really, really good deal. For example, if you increase the HP of a forest troll by 30%, their HP goes up by 9, if I recall the rounding correctly, which pushes it up to 35. It gives you an extra point of regeneration per round. If you cast it on Troll Moose Knights, their HP goes up by more than 10, which means they actually gain, it goes up by 13, I believe. 12 or 13. I think it's 13. Which means they actually gain 2 points of regeneration, so they'll be regenerating at 6 points per round with 53 hit points, which is not a bad place to be at all. So, let's grab Alteration level 2. That'll be easy. It's only 50 points. After that, Evocation level 2 will be important, and then we'll want to run down to Enchantment level 5 and get Skelespam online. We will also need Thaumaturgy level 1 to form Communions. So let's grab that, and then the Enchantment level 5. And I think that will be our plan for the early game. In the meantime, let's look at the other gods real briefly. Of course, I don't know who they are exactly, but we have the End of Memes of the Horned Coalition. We have the Forgotten for Fomorignon, the Great Crystal for Methelheim Unusual Surprises for Skeletopia, the Optimal SC Chassis for Thagartha, Rick Astley, of course, for Trollheim, Tyche for Optimistria, David Hasselhoff for the Baywatch, Rock Your World for Communigrad, Peter Pangender for Pangender, the Cow of Revenue for Thriceborn, Grayskull for Eternia. You've got to love, I just love the Prince Adam head. And Central Processor for Miltonus. So Central Processor, Lord of Doors and Beginnings and Endings, Gatherer of the Dead, the King at the Crossroads. So that's death, basically. That's a lot of death. I think this is Astral, if I recall correctly. That's death, and I believe that's also death. So, interesting. And of course he has the Tyrants, his various Magi. He does have the Keepers of Forbidden Knowledge, which are the they're Bogarus's occultists. And he stole this is the guy who stole my Wolf Riders, the bastard. I wanted Wolf Riders. Sad. Grayskull is the Hungry Earth, Prince of Mountains, Lord of Poetry and Song. So Earth and Nature, I believe. Can you tell why this faction is my favorite? I mean, come on now. They do have Cyclope Smiths. They don't, I would say, have any fantastic thug chassis, though. They have erudites, these Ashipu, who are, of course, disease healers. They've got Ancestor Smiths, stolen from late age Tianqi. And they've got, these are masters, these are Imperial Alchemists, we talked about that before. Or these are the early age Tianqi, Masters of the Five Elements. Interesting stuff. In any case, so, yeah, Earth and Nature there, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4 titles, so fairly high Dominion. God of Might, King of Tremors, he who runs like an arrow, Master of Dirt. So this is more Earth. I think he who runs like an arrow is... I don't think that's an elemental title. I think that's a, I think that's a Dominion-related title. But in any case, he's definitely got pretty significant Earth there. Peter Pangender, the fortifier, protector of the Holy Mountain, patron of Smith's vessel of might. That's primarily Earth. Rock Your World, healer of the lands, guardian of existence, bane of men. I think that's nature and death. Oh no, that might be blood. Yeah, it might be blood. He might have taken a nature, like, bark skin blood bond or something for his Vanheers. That would be a bit of an annoying bless to deal with. David Hasselhoff, guarding the bridge, warrior in the gale, he who tempers the spirit, god of near and close. If I recall correct, so that's air. That, I think, is astral, god of near and close. I may be wrong about that. Astral titles are so hard to remember. They're all very obscure. But he's got air. Screams in lizard. Okay. He's got Royal Malky. You can see here that the Baywatch did not bother to rename or entitle or write lore for their units, which is sad. Alas for them, but they do have some pretty powerful magi. They've got the Hurian Priests, they've got Sorrowmancers. They're somewhat dangerous. Taiki, god of the forges, prince of astral fires, friend of sailors. So, I'm not sure if this is fire-earth crosspath or what. That's astral. This is astral fire is what these two indicate, I believe. And then friend of sailors, I think, is air. That'll be interesting. Rick Astley, of course, the hidden one, fecund breed bull. So that is nature, and that is, I think the hidden one is astral. The optimal SC chassis, prince of flowers and spring, the leaf lord, patron of berserkers. I don't know what that one is. It might be nature, because berserker is a nature bless. This might just indicate really high-level nature, so he might have just gone nature 7, and that's it. He's got Hoburg crossbows and Burgmeister guard, and then he also has Ahiman Anakites and Colossi light infantry. Interesting. Hoburg crossbows are very, very good. And he has death, earth, and fire income. Unusual surprises from Skeletopia, god of the mountain springs, the copper caster of the gods. I have no idea what either of those are, actually. I think god of the mountain springs might be water or earth or possibly both. I have no idea what copper caster of the gods is about. He has wolf herds. Why he has wolf herds, I don't know. Why he has Much Patab, I don't know, except he maybe wants to go underwater. But he could use Shardguard for that, too. I guess he needs an amphibious commander. And Phlegron Tyrants aren't amphibious like their descendants are. But they are very good super combatants. And they can spam, Heal-It Warriors for free troops. The Great Crystal, the Most High Goddess of Spring and Eternal Youth, Mistress of Forgiving, Patron of Huntsmen, so that's a lot of nature right there. Not surprising, considering that he has Skrati and Jarls. And Kalamuka, who are also sacred and have decent hit points. In terms of troops, very, very few troops, but pretty high quality. He's also got recruitable Holy 3s, real basic human recruitable Holy 3s, so he can Throne Rush quite effectively. The Forgotten has large scorpions, the very, very cheap ones. Recruitable Heal-It Warriors, which is an interesting choice. Standard Crossbowmen, Shipalban Guard, another interesting choice. I wouldn't have picked them myself. And Eagle Warriors, which are pretty decent because they're cheap. The Hunger Below, God of Earthquakes, God of Dreams, Patron of Human Sacrifice. This is Earth and Blood. And he has Anakom, so he has a very efficient Blood Hunter. He's got Orphic Mystics, so lots and lots of paths there available. Golem Crafters, so Earth and Fire Water cross paths. Black Rose Sorceresses, which are actually an indie. This is an interesting pick, but not a bad one. Black Rose Sorceresses have great paths. They have a chance to random air. They have death, nature, and blood. All very good paths. They are also adept crossbreeders, if that doesn't bother you. They're slow to recruit, but they're not very expensive. So 210 gold for 5 paths. Not bad. And they're all pretty good paths, plus high research. So Black Rose Sorceresses, pretty good. He's also got Royal Navigators and Nemedian Sorceresses for a capital only. In fact, they're both capital only. So his capital only competition is a little bit sharp, but I would be recruiting Nemedian Sorceresses almost all of the time, to be honest. Royal Navigators are fine, but they're not amazing. And then, of course, we have the Horned Coalition. Everyone is horny here. Yes, yes, har har. They're all satyrs. The end of memes, the Breathmaker, goddess of beauty and charm, messenger of gods, goddess of horses. I believe that's air and astral. These represent up here. I'm not sure what goddess of horses is. Might be nature? I'm not sure. But I think there's some air and some astral in there. I'm not sure what exactly the end of memes chassis would be. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so those are the gods. These are the nations that we have. You may notice a fairly consistent few choices of troops, but pretty effective troops all the way across the board. Plenty of super combatant chassis, plenty of high quality mages. Honestly, I'm actually not the super combatant guy in this game. I mean, I have Troll Kings, and Troll Kings are hugely efficient thugs, but they're not really true super combatants. They can be, but they get pretty expensive if you're doing that. Especially the susceptibility to fire can be a big problem. And of course, if I take their armor off to put a shroud on, well, that solves a lot of their problems, but it makes them significantly more vulnerable because now they don't have a ton of just base prot. Early game, I probably plan to be using Troll Kings in small groups as just real basic thugs with limited gear, like maybe just Frost Brands. They can just cast a couple buff spells on themselves and go to town. If I send 2 or 3, they should be able to wipe out most defenses pretty easily and regenerate through whatever damage they take. But in any case, that is turn 1. We're not doing a whole lot because it's turn 1, but we are about to go. And you can see I do have Jotun province defense, hilariously. So lots of Jotun militia, javelinists, a hearse, and a jarl. Fun stuff. In any case, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 2. Alright folks, it's turn 2. The only events this turn were a whole bunch of prophet proclamations. Some were renamed, some were not. Unfortunately, of course, I forgot to rename mine, but in any case, we have Koziolek Matolek, the warrior chief, Ulnun the taskmaster, Swamp Lord the Muchpatab, moderately sized lad the commander, nice one, the Lucky the commander, exiled for never watching the show, the assassin, prophet of David Hasselhoff, Rufio Paul the Granny Z, Dum Dum the Eternium Priest, and Non-Snakelegs the Commander. So, plenty of new prophets, plenty of cool stuff going on. In my case, I am sending out my first expansion party. So, we've got 10 Trollfolk Spears and 5 Troll Moose Knights. The Troll Moose Knights are going to be kind of following behind the Trollfolk Spears in an effort to let them take any casualties that might have to be taken. Tetsuya here will be leading them. He is a Water 1 random, which is pretty nice. And so that little force will be heading down here. This should be a very, very easy conquest, and it will open up some other directions for us to go in. I may actually end up taking this army and making a thrust downward, southward, in an effort to kind of secure this, as much of this area as I can, although there should be another player right in this kind of region-ish. So I'd like to at least secure a border here, if at all possible. In the meantime, a couple more turns, I'll have another expansion party of the same units, Moose Knights and Trollfolk Spear Chaff, and we will use them to take these provinces, and then kind of keep spreading out that way. My expansion should be pretty decent, even with my Imprisoned God. In terms of research, we've already got our research lined up from last turn. Not a whole lot of research going on. Tyr here is researching, but that's about all that's happening for right now. Early game always goes quick, of course, but I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm thinking, as Trollheim, I probably am going to want to hit someone pretty early when the strength of my troll units still matters, and they don't have a whole lot of magic to hit me with yet. Because if I can get together, you know, I don't know, 20 or 30 Troll Moose Knights, they can probably bust up somebody else's army pretty effectively, like without a whole lot of trouble. But we'll see. That's, you know, that's a decent goal to go for. May not end up working out, but we'll aim for it. In terms of recruitment, I'm recruiting a Troll Shaman. Troll Shamans are solid mages, decent researchers, also decent site searchers, so I'm going to grab one of those, and then I'll want to get out a few Olm Sages as well, and start site searching for water. But for now, that's about all I got. I don't have a whole lot of water around me. I do have Black Gorge there and Province 251 down that way. I may be able to get some Troll Guards into them and take those over. We'll see. Most other factions don't really have a whole lot of amphibiosity. So, you know, they shouldn't be able to really stop me. But we'll find out what's happening in turn 3. See you then. Okay, folks, turn 3, we did take Thing Woods, and in fact, we only took 1 casualty in the process. 17 total defenders. Those Troll Moose Knights just pretty much clubbed their way through everything. Did lose 1 of our Trolled Folk Spears, but that will be alright. Now, it was a little bit difficult to decide where to go from here. Wolf Tribe over here would actually inflict some attrition. Not feeling too great about trying to take on a throne right at the moment. That province looks fairly tempting, as does this one, but I can't reach them, of course. This province has Long Dead Horsemen, and the problem with fighting Long Dead Horsemen with this army would be, well, odds are they'll race around back, hit the Trolled Folk Spears, and wipe out my Shaman. The Long Dead Horsemen, that is. I could set my Troll Moose Knights to attack cavalry, which might get them, but still, seemed a little bit risky. So instead, I'm pushing outwards. I'm pushing down this way to secure Wold, and then I'll either cut back sideways or maybe keep pushing out to establish a wider, you know, territorial border. In the meantime, I do have more troops being recruited, plus another Trolled Folk Shaman. We'll have a pretty decent expansion party next turn that will go out here to Asanon, and then up to Amikria. Hopefully we'll be able to grab number 60, and make that our border up there with somebody. That would be nice to have that farm, and then of course we can finish securing our cap circle as we go. Right now the main thing is income, since our troops are all very, very expensive, except for the Trolled Folk, of course. I would like to have more of that. I could. The funny thing here is if you cancel 1 Troll Knight, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Trolled Folk Spears. Of course, I run out of resources if I try to do that. So the Troll Moose Knights are a pretty good job because despite, I mean, they cost 31 resources, but that's still a third as many resources as they cost gold. So actually, they're a fairly low resource option, which is sort of funny. Even lower resource than Troll Guard. The Huskarls here are my highest resource option by far. They're going to have to wait until I secure these mountains and that forest before I can start recruiting many of them. They're good units, but I won't have many of them early on. I do have Solvig here, and Solvig is going to move out to start site searching for Death 2. That would be just grand. Get a little Death and Nature site searching going, and in fairly short order we'll start site searching for some other paths as well. So, short turn of course, since it's only turn 3. That is the entirety of the turn. I haven't seen anybody else yet. I do have my scout/prophet who's going to keep going. Let's have him go that way. Since I've captured this forest, I could be recruiting warrior scouts here, and I will start to do that next turn. I can also recruit Veti hags here with a lab, which is pretty fucking nice. But we'll get the scouts first and start spreading them out in this direction. I'd like to secure at least 1 more. Obviously, I'm going to have that forest. I'd like to secure that forest as well if I can, but it's kind of secondary compared to getting that and this. We'll just see how far we can go. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 4. Alright, turn 4. We took Wold. We lost a couple more of our Trolled Folk Spears, but that's fine. The Troll Moose Knights are really doing their jobs. We have our second expansion party ready to go. 4 Knights plus 16 Trolled Folk. They're going into Asanon here to clean out the Deer Tribe, while this troop skims sideways to take Resting Heights. I could keep trying to push south, but to be honest, I don't really want to fight any of these. This one would be doable, Feral Woods. The Barbarians might actually get lucky and kill a couple of my Troll Moose Knights, which would be unpleasant. And these guys, they just have a lot of units, and they have some cataphracts. They may be able to get around and kill my commander or something. So I'm just kind of playing it a little bit cautious, which is always, ironically, is always a gamble in Dominions, but it is what it is. We're recruiting a Veti Hag, plus 2 Knights and a bunch more Spears. 2 more turns once again, and we should have an army. So next turn, we'll recruit another Trolled Folk Shaman, and send that group north, because I think this group is going to clear out that, and then these guys may join up to push south, or we may push further out in this direction. But in any case, our next expansion party will clean out Bright Woods, take Rim Mountains, and then push north. So north may be where we end up with the least expansion. But in any case, our expansion is going fine. We haven't seen anyone yet. I haven't checked all... Okay, so that's the Horned Coalition. They're right there. So that's fine. So they're going to end up with this territory. Interesting that I haven't seen them, because that's in their cap circle. And these are real close. Yeah, we'll just let them be there. We'll hold Wold as our border. I may try to snake Lithia if they haven't taken it in 3 or 4 turns, but probably they will. And I don't really want to push hard enough to get into a war instantaneously, although getting into a war early, as I've said before, since my troops are good, wouldn't be a terrible idea in a lot of ways. In terms of other neighbors, Bakar, Grey Forest, Kark. Don't see any just yet. Let's head that guy up north still. Scythia. Don't see anything over there. Okay, so Horned Coalition is the only ones we found so far. Okay, good to know. Over here, we're going to start recruiting warrior scouts in that forest. And that is going to be the turn. Once again, only 2.5 minutes in this turn, but that's fine. Like I said, not a whole lot happens during early expansion. We're going to be hitting Alteration level 2 in just about 3 turns here, I believe. Which is fine. It's okay for my research to be very slow in this early portion of the game, but we've gone up to 2 expansion parties, so we should be able to maintain a good steady 2 provinces per turn, hopefully 3. We can crank out another party of Moose Knights. Actually, I can get close. I don't really need a lot of Trolled Folk Spears, so let's just recruit like 3 or 4 of them. Let's do 4, and see if we can get maybe 4 Troll Moose Knights out next turn. If I can push my income up high enough. Hopefully the income from Asanon is pretty high. And then we'll push up to Omicria or go south. Or this is a large province, so it's likely to have pretty good income. And we'll just see what we can see. So, I'll see y'all in turn 5. Okay, folks, turn 5. This turn, one of those kind of annoying things happened. So first of all, there was a battle in Resting Heights, this little mountain province down here, which went just fine. The Troll Moose Knights and the Trolled Folk Spears did their job perfectly well. The Spears absorbed a little bit of damage while the Troll Moose Knights killed everyone, which they do with startling efficiency. I love these guys. They're just so good. I mean, they're criminally expensive, but honestly, you know, they're not even that overpriced. For, like, yeah, they're 100 gold. Like, yeah, they're overpriced. They really should be, like, I don't know, 70, 75, something like that. 100 gold is almost what you pay for example, Jeyedens, which are basically this deadly, but also fly and have a second shape that they can come back from. So, yeah, there's a difference. And are sacred, of course. That's the big difference. But still, Troll Moose Knights, very, very solid. Very strong. I love them. In any case, they cleared the province out, no problem. Lost 1 spear. Asanon, same thing. Basically, I think we lost 2 spears in this battle. Because of the arrows, primarily. I actually killed the enemy leader, or one of the enemy leaders, right off the bat. And then, yeah, the Moose Knights got in there, clubbed people down, no trouble. We lost 3, I'm sorry. And then, in Resting Heights, there was an assassination attempt by a gelatinous cube against my Trolled Folk Shaman. And unfortunately, Trolled Folk Shamans with no research do not have the capability of stopping a gelatinous cube. So, that went well. He's just casting whatever spells he can think of, then he charges into melee and gets trampled to fucking death. More importantly, he gets swallowed. Swallowed whole and dies. So, that was that. So, this army just lost their commander entirely, which is super sad. Fortunately, I can recruit independent commanders here, so I'm recruiting an independent commander. And a few more Trolled Folk Spears just for fun. Beyond that, everything's going fine. That is going to slow me down, unfortunately. I'm only going to be able to take this 1 province. I was hoping to take 2, although to be honest, looking at these, there isn't another really good province to take, so probably I would only have taken this one in any case. Norantheon is a fantastic province with tons of income. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine these armies to take that province. Next turn, we've spawned a national hero. He's not a very impressive national hero, but he does Dominion Monster Summon, I don't know what, I think Wolf Riders, Wolves, Veti, something? I'm not sure. We're using worthy heroes here. So he's got the Hero Spear, which does ×3 versus larger, so size 4 or higher. And he's stealthy, and he's a good leader. So Sporsnial is pretty decent. In any case, he's leading a few units to join these units. That will give them a total of 6 Troll Moose Knights, which should be sufficient to club their way through this lot. Then we'll send some troops over to take Red Mines, and probably some troops under the other commander south to join up with this army to take Queen Forest. And then hopefully also take Lithia. That might be nice. Albeit that would pretty much be declaring war on the Horned Coalition, which we still haven't seen anything of. We're sending L down here sneaking down towards the Horned Coalition to see what's up with them. Over here, we've got 2 more turns. We'll have a party to expand from here. That will go north into Bright Woods. Yeah, Veti Hag is fine. So I'm recruiting a Veti Hag. Next turn, I will recruit a Trollfolk Shaman to lead that army. Lead it north into Bright Woods, Omicria, and then hopefully also Ultima Delica. But I should be able to keep up the speed of expansion somewhat. It's turn 5. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 provinces. 6 next turn, and then it should be 7 the turn after that. And hopefully 10 the turn after that if all goes well. Because if we can get 7, and then we can hit that province, either Lithia or that province and that province, and then grab Rim Mountains at some point pretty soon. Then we'll be in decent shape. I should also be nice to get Carrion Mire and Black Alps. We'll see if we can do that. Ideally, of course, I would end up, 2 provinces away from my capital on all sides. But that's probably not going to happen. That's more provinces than I can realistically achieve if things are distributed evenly. Now, I might be able to do it just because my Troll Moose Knights are super, super powerful in the early game, but we'll find out. Research continues. 2 more turns before Alteration level 2. Then we need to grab Evocation level 2 to get Rain access. We also will need some Water Gems before we want to go into any serious war, because we'll want to be able to cast Rain in any significant battle. But that's all for the future. For right now, things are actually going fine. That was a little bit of an annoying little thing to happen, but it'll be okay. We're leaving Desert of Visions for right now. We'll take it in a little while. And site search it, of course. We've got Solveig wandering around site searching, which will take a while, of course. And at some point pretty soon, we will want to recruit a Troll Sith Barrender to site search for Astral. We'll also want to get a Troll King or 2, and of course we need to get several Olm Sages out. So lots and lots to do. Hoping to start on my next fortress sometime fairly soon. Honestly, recruitment points aren't a huge limiter for me because I can always recruit trolls who don't require a lot of recruitment points compared to the gold they cost. Trollfolk Spears actually require quite a bit of recruitment points comparatively speaking, but I may well build a fort here. Resting Heights wouldn't be a bad place for a fort. Of course, neither would Noranthion, because Noranthion has a lot of income and a lot of recruitment points. Building a fort there would be decent, but I feel like building a fort here in Resting Heights wouldn't be bad. And I could get some work done there. With, income and resource support from Wold and Queen Forest, plus Noranthion. And actually, Desert of Visions has pretty significant resources as well for the size of province it is. So I think that would be pretty solid. Having one there might be solid. In any case, I'm hoping to start one in maybe 2 or 3 turns. Like, by turn 8, I'd like to have one started, and then I'd like to have another one started before turn 12. Got some Zots over there as well, so I can definitely take these caves without too much trouble, since my trolls have 50% dark vision, and so do my trolled folk. And we should be able to, I think, set up a pretty decent border along this way, claim Omicria, and then, like I said, hopefully also Ultima Delica. So, that is turn 5, and I'll see you all in turn 6. So far, this is going fine. Hopefully it continues that way. Okay, folks, it's turn 6. Now, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a problem in Noranthion. Some of these heavy infantry got around my flank, and they managed to kill my Trollfolk Shaman. I also lost most of my spears. Still have all 6 Moose Knights, though. So, that being so, I can't split this army up, and in fact, just for safety's sake, I kind of want to keep these troops together. So, both Sporsniel and Vano are actually going down to hit Queen Forest. We're going to hit Queen Forest super, super hard. Then these armies will diverge, and hopefully we will take Lithia and Ashenton simultaneously. This province, I'm just a little bit skeptical about. Sporsniel probably could take it, with 6 Moose Knights plus a few random chaff. Yeah, because everybody would be at -1. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I am going to gamble. We're going to send Sporsniel to take that. That's mainly light infantry, but does have some light cavalry and cataphracts as well. I'm worried about Vano dying if I go down to take Lithia, but might still be worth it. This is going to be, this province is actually going to be a little bit of a problem, because they have ethereal units, and then they have the Psacha as well, who have the paralyzing claws. Let's go down and hit Lithia, just sort of speculatively right now. Hopefully we'll be able to take both of those provinces, no trouble, and then next turn we can maybe combine on Queen Forest, or we can send Sporsniel rolling up into Mile Deep. You know, whatever seems to be easiest. Next turn we'll definitely have an expansion party here under a Trollfolk Shaman. 6 Troll Moose Knights plus a bunch of little goblins. Perfect. That army will roll up north and start taking provinces, and we should be in pretty decent shape. Expansion's been honestly a little bit slow. Like, we're still only at 6 provinces on turn 6. And our income is still fairly low as a consequence. But if we can take Lithia, that will definitely help. And then we'll also roll up this way, try to grab Omicria. Probably our next army is going to hit Bright Woods, then jog right to Omicria, and then go up to Ultima Delca if we possibly can. So, that's the plan there. And, yeah, I think that's about all it needs doing this turn. Gonna hit Alteration level 2 next turn, grab our Evocation level 2 for Rain. We're still site searching with Solveig, but nobody else. And still recruiting scouts here. This scout is heading over in this direction. We see, so the Horned Coalition, it looks like have at most 2 provinces of their capital circle. I don't know what direction they may have gone. I mean, to be fair, I still have a ton of provinces unaccounted for in my cap circle. So, you know, not criticizing exactly, although one of them, to be fair, is a throne. But these 2 are definitely pretty easy, and I should grab them soon. It's unfortunate that they don't actually connect. Possibly I can send an army to hook around that way and then head north. I'm not sure. We'll kind of play it by ear. But in any case, that's the turn. Another real short one. One of these early setting up turns. Hopefully both of these will win. I know my Troll Moose Knights won't have any trouble. My only real worry is that Vano here will get killed. Sporsniel has the luck since he's a hero, so he's automatically lucky in battle, so that helps him a lot. But in any case, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. See you in turn 7.